Tony boy,
How are you, mate?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, mate. Good.
Nearly Christmas time. Fast approaching.
Flying in.
So, with these episodes, what we were planning on doing was 10 lessons to take into the new year. Things that we've experienced from previous years and this year. And the way that we're going to do it is I'm going to present the lessons to you that are yours.
So I've written these down.
Yeah.
Handed them to Tommy. First time he's seen them. You've gave me yours.
Mm-hmm.
Episode 8, I'll go over yours.
Yes.
And then we'll fire them out for everyone to listen to.
Yep. Aye. That's the way of it. So,
I think we said it first. Just a wee thank you to everyone for the first 8. Usual malarkey, like, subscribe, we want sponsored.
aye. Exactly that, mate.
And then we're good to go.
Yes, we are, mate. So, you can get obsessed with making things perfect that you end up being so far away from it.
So I found that this has had such a big impact on my training, my life, everything else. There was a study done, I think it was in America, in a university. They got 100 people to make as many, it was a pottery class, to make as many pots as they can within a time period. The other group were only allowed to make one pot. So what they found was the people that consistently turned up and made as many pots as possible not only enjoyed it more, but the quality of what they'd done was substantially the group that could only make one pot and try and make it so-called perfect. It proves the point with just about everything in life. Like, you have to just keep going even when things don't seem good. Things will never be perfect. But it's the process of doing things that make you even better. Like, similar to making a pot, just like your training. There's going to be 10, 15, hundreds of lessons and sessions along the way. But if you just try and strive for perfection all the time, you're never going to get there. This is why when I seen that and heard of it, I was like, training's just the exact same. Like, people start thinking everything has to be bang on perfect, and it doesn't. Like, the guy that just keeps turning up, he's going to get further ahead in like every field in life with just that consistency of building the momentum. So that was that one.
You get away with nothing in life.
I found this through like everything, training wise, even just general life. Like, even the times you think you don't get caught, it always comes back and bites you. Whether it's disloyalty, lies, it will always come and eat you up in some way. Like, you know, we believe in God. Other people believe in the universe, karma, whatever it is. Like, when you lie to yourself or lie to other people, it always comes and shows up in other ways. And I found that with people, and they try and lie their way through life. And it's when they need peace more than anything, like, they don't have it. They assume that everything's going to happen to them. You think you might get away from a certain situation. Further down the line, it's always going to come eat you up. It's going to play its part in you. So that just, I take that rule, kind of going into everything, like, honesty. Like, you can't get away with it all. It's impossible. It's going to come bite you at some point in your life, and it will always relate back to something. When you're sitting there, full anxiety, something's playing on you. If you backtrack, and I've kind of, the older I've got, realised that, like, you start navigating back the way, you'll come to something that's really quite fucking disturbing. It's normally something that you've done. Generally comes through lies. That's why I'm quite big on, when people are consistently liars, they're not for me. The best thing that can come of something is just open honesty. Whatever happens to that, it's meant to happen. What's your thoughts on that, Tommy? Because that's something that you'll know. You're no liars. People are really good at it. How do you feel? Like, what do you feel like
I used to lie to myself all the time, mate. I've never lied to people. Like, I love it. Obviously, like, I've told fucking white lies to my mum and stuff like that, like stupid things.
I'm no stone.
But it's huge. It's absolutely massive, and you can't be about that. If you are, you probably got to turn into it. It's almost like lies are just another form of excuses, and I know that makes no sense, but you're excusing yourself from the truth.
Yep.
That you don't want to face, most likely. Or if you're lying to someone else that you don't want them to know or face. So I think it's probably one of the worst traits you can carry.
No, I agree.
The things you see on social media are most likely so far away from reality.
I've always been aware of that. I've spoke about it a lot in this podcast. Like, the more you kind of sit on social media, especially when you have got like a kind of background of going out, seeing people, knowing people, you know, a lot of it's not true. I kind of spoke to us before, it's the gambling syndrome, which I call it, which is kind of process I use when I kind of go on social media and you know the backstory it happened for. And it's not to say that like truth and happiness and good things don't happen, but it was the looking at things and going, do you ever see the people when they put up the bet? And it's always the winning slip.
Yep.
Nobody posts all the times they lost the 50 quid, the 100 quid, the big massive bets. I started seeing that all the time. Go, oh, I don't bet. And I'm like, oh, I could have done that. I could have done this.
Yep.
But you don't see, they're just showing you exactly what they want to see. They don't show you all the money that's went into account. Life can be a bit like that as well. Like, you see the woman that posts the flubbers, but she's moaned at her man all month to send her them. The guy that's on holiday, acting, they've got a happy couple, but he's been out cheating on her the last couple of months, sleeping on the couch. Like, they've just posted that you think you just make out everything's all right. So from an outside point of view, you're looking in, you're seeing all these things. But when you know people, you're looking going, you're full of shit.
Aye.
Like, I know what you're all about. I know what your life is. I know how you actually portray yourself in person when it really matters. And your social media, talking rubbish. It's the going away, the fancy tops, the fancy clothes, fancy cars. That's, you don't see the tick bill. Like, it's people show you exactly what they want to see rather than just being who they need to be.
Aye.
And that's the biggest thing for me. Like, it's a lie. And like I said, that doesn't mean that people won't or can't send a Mrs. Flowers or they can't do these things, but it has to be a good intention behind it. Not when it's just to portray it as something it's not, because ultimately that never ends well. Like, it has to become a bit of purity behind it.
I agree with that, mate. I can strongly relate to that. Kind of looking at people on Instagram and looking at couples and such and blah, blah, blah. And
It's not even to attack certain couples,
no,
like that, but it can
course.
be fitness. You
It
see
can
all
be.
the
Aye.
six-pack, the glutes, I'm all confident, and you're going, you're a fucking nasty piece of work most of the time. You slaughter everybody.
Yep.
Like, you've not got a nice word to say about anybody, but you're this confident individual that, like, come on, like, you're showing exactly what you want to see. Because deep down, you know, you've got shit to work on, and that's the horrible bit about it. Like, the bits that they're hiding are the ones that will change their life, the ones that will make them a better person, and that's, which I've done. Like, I'm this perfect human, of course not, but I've went through all the bits that I know would make me better, and it's made me highlight all these things and just go, it's better than that. Like, it doesn't have to be portrayed. It can be actually be done, and it can be done with a pure heart behind it.
Training for internal health and happiness is superior to anything else, but external goals can help.
I think the most important thing I've said, like, The Man in the Glass, it's my favourite poem. Looking in the mirror, like, you have to be happy with what you've got. When it's all said and done, like, that's what matters. You need that external happiness. You need to know that you're doing the best you can and take pride in that. Be proud of who you're becoming. It's easy to just solely focus on all the internal stuff, but external stuff like achieving, getting the medal, doing these things, like they will help with that. It's a fine line. It's trying to go and right, well, am I pushing too much towards the external stuff, the cars, the watches, the house, which can facilitate happiness so much, but not at the expense of one another. Like, it has to be happiness, being happy in your own body has to be at the forefront. Then maybe working towards like your goals, you're certainly buying the house, doing these things are always going to push you on, but ultimately you'll buy that house and you'll feel miserable within it, whether it's a 1-bedroom flat or a £1 million mansion. Like, if you're not happy inside, it's never going to end well.
Treat others the way you want to be treated yourself. I love that, mate.
The easiest thing to say, but the hardest thing to do. My mum told me this, she said it to me for ever. It's not this year I really grasped it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really kind of come to terms with it, and it's a simple sentence, but it's such a hard one to carry out, because it was this year I realised that treat others the way you want treated yourself, no matter what. Like, no matter what happens in life, you've morally been raised, in my case, by a amazing woman. You have to treat the people the way you would want treated in that situation. Does that protect you from the way people might treat you? No, not always. But how you respond is the most important thing.
Yep.
That is what will tide you going forward. Mm-hmm. And I've seen that kind of grace and everything else, my mum, that no matter what you go through, your character, you can lose money, you can lose friends in life, but if you lose your character, like, it is the worst trait you can ever have, because it's something that is so hard to get back. And I think that sentence, I just try and always remind myself going forward, if I was in this situation, how would I, if this was flipped round, how would I respond to her? Could I be a wee bit more kind? Can I maybe press a wee bit more? Could I tell them, no, you can do better in this situation? What would I like to be told if I was in a good situation, a bad situation? And it's, like I said, it's so hard to do, because a lot of the time you're stuck in a position where you might want to tell somebody, I think this, I think that, but you know, if it was the other way about, you'd be like, no, I need a different response here. I need somebody to maybe put a hand on me. Or there's been times with you where I've fucking cracked the whip as such. Mm-hmm. But it's what that person needs, what you need. That's what always kind of came through me, like, treat other people the way you want treated, and it can only come back good for you.
Love that, mate. Life is better when you're brave.
You're better to live and not regret things than look like a fool for trying. I've seen that with you as well, that wee 15, 20 seconds of bravery to go to the session, go ask the person out. Like, I remember when I met, I met Molly last year. She lives down south, I live up here, and it was like, it took so much bravery for me to just go, fuck it, let's see what happens here. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. I had no idea how that was going to turn out. Same to her as well. So there was an element of bravery of just going, let's see how this goes. And it's been one of the best decisions I've ever done. Do you know what I mean? Like, because it proves that good things always come just for being brave. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, like, living and not knowing, even though you don't know your future, you don't know what happened, like, living and not knowing would be worse than trying and seeing what happens. And maybe things fail, maybe it doesn't work out a lot of the time, but I mind always saying like, her, like, what happens if it does? Like, and it's been good, and it's same with everything in life, like, go and turn up to that session, go and ask her out, go and do these things that I think even just doing this podcast today, it was like, it's not to say I have got everything worked out. It's like I try and talk to younger guys because I know at times in your life you'll get to these points where you might have to apply some of these, and some of them might not make any sense at all to like what you kind of morally believe or whatever. But I've just always been big on like life can only get better if you're brave, and you'll not look back and go like, oh, what did I do that for? Like it can only. It's better you'll sleep better at night knowing that you put the big boy pants on and went for it.
Aye. Effort and honesty are underrated.
I just really emphasise that this year. Going to make this a Molly special podcast here. Like I said, my missus stays down south. Like, it takes effort for her to jump in a plane.
Aye.
And come up and see me. It takes effort for me to do the same. Sometimes everybody, like that's why I say effort and honesty is underrated, because sometimes people's action can tell you everything you need to know about them.
Mm-hmm.
She wouldn't be jumping on that flight every couple of weeks and coming up and see me. What does that tell you? She cares about me. She wants a future with me, and vice versa with her. People don't look at actions all the time. They look at words. I've came so far away from that. It's all about what somebody doing. Like, I'm quite big on that. Like, people treat you exactly how they want to treat you. Like, by all means, I know some people, they might treat people what they know of, but it's that whole effort across the board. Like, it gets overlooked, but it's everything. Like, even with your training, being honest in it, being honest with your coach, your friends, yourself. Like, it's so important just to make you better. Like, as I say, look, if somebody gives effort, relating back to that last one we spoke about, like, you can't live with regret then. You've gave 100%. It's like, I've been there where you look back and you go, I just wish I gave a wee bit more. Yeah. I just wish I just pressed that a wee touch more. And if you can, you'll never know the outcome in life, you know what I mean? But if you can just give all you've got in that situation, things can only get good for there. So that was it's a huge one for me. Huge for me to find out, and that's what I kind of speaking about when talking to other people. Like, what does somebody give you back? And that is what's going to determine how they are in your life.
It's better to always assume it's your fault.
I picked this one up this year, probably my biggest lesson. And some people won't like it because it holds a mirror up to you a lot of the time. And it's not, I'm not meaning stuff like tragic deaths in the family, things like that have no control of you.
Yeah.
But I see it a lot with guys. I used to do it as well all the time. Like, they press that they are this smart figure. They've got it all worked out. I'm the man. And I've been there. I've done it. Then when something bad happens to them, can't believe that. Can't believe it happened to me. I was like that, and I'm a bit like, now, you say you're this smart guy. Like, you should have been able to work all this out before it got to this point where you feel tragedy, or you feel embarrassed, or your ego's took a hit. Like, you should have worked it by now that it was going to get to this point. So it's your fault. So I just take that stead with 95% of my thing. Like, if anything bad happens to me, I take full responsibility. Because I do think that I'm a smart guy now. I do think I like where I'm going. So if anything pushes me back, I can always backtrack and know, wait a minute, I made a mistake there.
Yep.
I should have known better. And it's just made my life so much better, because I can then be accountable to myself and go, do you know what? That's your fault. You need to change that, and see if you go and do it again, you're an even bigger fool. So that was huge for me. I think all guys could do so much better in life if they have that attitude. Because unfortunately, it's mostly always the guy's fault, and it's actually a nice thing to take it back and go, do you know what? I can do better for there. Like I'll make that. This will make me stronger rather than the whole pity party of thing. Because, like I said, I know there's situations where sometimes you need an arm around you, but most of the time, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, you should have done better.
Yep.
Like, you're the fool here. I mean, so if you apply the lesson that you now know, your life can only get better for there, and that's as I say, that's probably been my biggest lesson this year.
Aye. That's something that I agree with hugely, mate. Just take responsibility. Like, if you're wrong, hold your hands up and say you're wrong. Own it. Do something about it.
So that as well, as I was saying, but even when you see it in big ones like relationships and all these things as well, or just the gym. Oh, I can't believe I'm in this situation.
Aye.
Well, can you not? Really?
Mhm.
Every action you've done up to this point, or the people you've surrounded yourself with, you've known deep down, your gut's told you you're not doing things right, your friends have maybe told you, you've been given signs that you've chose to ignore. This is on you. Like, end of, that is the, like, I look at myself in the mirror, I tell myself that. Same way I tell myself when I'm doing great, but I will be very, very honest with myself because, like I said, whose fault's it really? Who you got to blame here?
You're right, mate. The most important conversations you have in life are the ones with yourself.
See, when I was at college studying my diploma for health and fitness, you had to do you had an old age client, so you had to go to the old folks home and work with this client. This is why I love, most of my friends are older. No, in their 70s and 80s. I don't know. But people that like that get overlooked.
Yeah.
They have so much life lessons. Like, they can teach you so much. This is why I'm trying to talk to maybe the guys that are younger, because people that have been through it all, there's lessons to learn for just listening to people, and some of them might not make sense, but it might make sense in a few years' time. Like, I was working with that woman for a few weeks, and it was incredible because she was such an interesting woman. At the end of it, she went, Tony, the most important conversations you have in life are the ones with yourself, so make sure they're good ones. And it just stuck with me forever. And it was like, recently it's really kind of forced on me, because, you know, it's like every day you're on your phone, you're running a bit daft, you're chasing things that maybe sometimes a wee bit of calmness come in life, and I know people like that now, they don't like being in their own head. But the conversations that I've had over the years are the ones that have changed my life for the better. Never been... Of course, people have given me good advice and influence along the way, but sitting myself and influence, like, they're the decisions that's pushed me on so much with everything. This is why I'm a bit like, I get drained on my phone, I try and step away from it. Like, when we were talking about that, there was the survey that most people would rather have had an electric shock than not being on their phone for, it was a certain period of time. So you would actually, literally, just so you could feel something, you would have rather have had the shock. And if you look at people, that's all they know. Like, they just, instead of sitting and being in their own thoughts, they'd rather be looking at something that serves very, very, probably detrimental to their mental health.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I genuinely love my own conversations with myself now. I love my own company. And I think that's the most powerful thing a man can have. Like, to actually sit, I always spoke about that one where I'd buy me a beer. Matthew McConaughey, it's a patting your own back to say, do you know what, you're doing all right.
Yep.
Like, I like the man you're becoming. That came for me for having harsh conversations with myself. Good conversations as well, like just sitting saying, nah, Tony, you could do better than that. You could treat people better in those situations. You could hold yourself to a higher standard in certain places. Like, those conversations influence everything going forward. There's a decision there. Am I going down that road? Am I going down that road? You would have been the same, I'd think, at one point, where you can go, enough's enough. That didn't come from somebody sticking post-it notes on your wall and saying, Tommy, go to the gym. It came for you lying in your bed and going, fuck this.
Aye.
Like, and that's, as I said, like, the conversations, like, when you are obsessed with your phone or you're stuck just always staying busy, you don't give you enough time to go and actually work these things out. Most of the time, as I said, it's no, the first few times you're doing it, it's no good conversations. It's stuff that's really kind of uprooted and, as I said, like, knowing there's a lot of work when you do get to the bottom of these things. That's why I think a lot of people don't do it. But for me, like, that was like incredible for me. This, I always try and remember that, like, never lose the ability to sit and talk to yourself, like, because it's so good for how you turn up.
Love that, mate. Find people who put wind in your sails.
That's my wee saying. Used that in my big brother's speech this year for his wedding. If somebody doesn't make you feel better about life, doesn't push you on, doesn't make you feel happier, they're going to pull you back. They're not going to push you forward. They're not going to propel you. I'd like to think and say that you can bring everybody with you along the way, but you've got to be your best first. If people bring you down or drag you along the way, drag you down with them, it's very, very hard to pull yourself back. And as you kind of go through that, you start to learn that people that put a wee spring in your step, even if that's yourself, they're the ones that make life better. I always kind of say that. That's why I said it to Darren and Anton in the speech. Like, they are incredible humans, like good, solid men. Like, you can see that they make their lives better, become together. Like, that's why I think, like, the partner you're with, the friends you surround yourself with, you are the company you keep. You got to find people that would want to see you do good. So I've kind of seen myself, like, not that I want to push people away or anything like that, but you kind of work out that, like, a couple of good friends are better than, you know, you have these just friends of the night that just going a night out with him. Like, I'm kind of past that now, where I've, like, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested if how you feel. And I've got, like, my other mate Fitzy, even you, mate, like, I know when I phone him or I phone you with good news, you share that with me. Like, there's I can tell you're happy.
Aye.
I can tell that there's goodness there. You put wind in my sails. The same breath, see if I phoned you and I'm fucking down in the dumps, I can hear the heart in your voice as well. Like, aye. And it's almost as if it's happening to you, and that's how you know when somebody's a really good friend. Aye. Like, you sometimes meet people and they're only really of good use when you're either up or down. Yep. Like, I find people like that, like, that are there for both situations. How about you, when you're feeling good, they want another 100 things good to happen to you. Yep. When you're feeling shit or something bad's happened, they just want you to feel better and they want you to feel your best again. Like, that's how you know you want to find people to put wind in yourselves. Like, that was a big one for me.
I love that, mate. Sorry.
Is that 10?
That's 10, mate. 10 very good lessons, mate.
So there we go. Probably a wee bit more quiet. There's no quieter. No, it's funny today, is it?
I mean, no, probably no, but there's time for that, mate.
Aye.
Do you know what I mean? It's about what we learnt this year, mate.
I genuinely, like, for me to just sit and talk about them as well, I genuinely think their lessons have helped my life. Aye. Any of the boys listening, anybody listening to this, younger people, older people, they might not mean anything, but those, at some point, I think will surface and you go, do you know what? Like, that actually makes a wee bit of sense there.
Aye.
Because I've been at the point where there's a point in my life where these probably meant nothing. Maybe going through experience at one point, and maybe you are in that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But all I can say is, if you're listening to this, and just go what you genuinely believe, because we talk a lot about morals and aligning yourself with people whose morals are similar.
Mm-hmm.
We're close to it. And it'll help. So I think the next episode we're going to flip it round.
Yes, we are.
Big Tommy's turn.
Flip it like an omelette.
See what Big Tommy's got to tell us.
Don't eat barbecue hula hoops. No, I'm kidding on. Aye. Aye. Well, mate, that's class. I love that, mate.
Good. Right, let's get out of here, because I'm intrigued to hear what you've got to say.
Let's do it.
All the best.
I don't know, I was going to say get up there, but that doesn't really align with all the best. Aye, it does. Get up!